welcome to another edition of Did You Know Doctor Who? What you may not know about Doctor Who. This time we're going to have a look at one of the best second Doctor stories, The Mind Robber. I hope you enjoy. During production, Fraser Hines contracted chickenpox, and as a result, the whole subplot of Jamie having the wrong face was written in to accommodate this. The story wasn't meant to be 5 parts, but due to the Dominators being reduced from 6 parts to 5 parts, it meant that they had an extra slot for Doctor Who, which meant that the episodes had to be split up, resulting in shorter episodes. Working titles included Manpower, Another World, and The Fact of Fiction. The white robots that close in on Jamie and Zoe in the void outside the TARDIS were previously used in the episode of the science fiction television series Out of the Unknown, The Prophet to be precise, originally transmitted on the BBC Two on 1st of January 1967 and which no longer exists in the BBC archives. They were also used in the BBC Two 30-minute theatre production The Metal Martyr and aired on the 27th of December 1967 and was repeated on the 28th of August 1968, the second broadcast being just 17 days before the first episode of The Mind Robber aired. As with The Prophet, this programme no longer exists in the BBC archives either. When Peter Ling originally wrote the serial, Victoria's replacement hadn't been created, so he wrote a generic female companion by the name of Zoe. The producer liked the name and it stuck. The main villain is called The Master. Ironically, 2 years later, the Renegade Time Lord would be created with the same name, but despite the fan theory, they are not the same character. Hamish Wilson was familiar with the show and had previously watched episodes with Jamie in it, which came in very useful when he was called in to play the part at ridiculously short notice. In the original script in Part 1, the TARDIS broke up after passing through a magnetic storm. The Master's foot soldiers were originally scripted to be monstrous, faceless entities, and it was they who posed puzzles to the Doctor. They were then changed to be toy soldiers, and the puzzles done by children. Peter Ling wanted Zorro to appear, but copyright reasons prevented this. This is both Patrick Troughton and Wendy Patbury's favourite story they did. Wendy Patbury was dissatisfied with the Zoe Carcass fight, which, as usual for this era of the show, was shot on video with no possibility of editing or retakes, but notes that nevertheless she found it easy to move and fight due to her wearing a catsuit, which was originally made for gymnasts, sports fair and fun. This is the last story to have telesnaps before John Curra's death in 1969. Because of this, no telesnaps for the nursing episodes of The Invasion or The Space Pirates exist. Whilst they aren't the same thing, the toy soldiers are technically the first type of clockwork droids to appear, but not connected in any way to the Reviver era droids. This is the only story to have no writer's credit. One of the toy soldiers were played by Fraser Hines' brother, Ian Hines. And believe it or not, Batman was to appear, especially due to the popularity of the Adam West TV show, but due to copyright this never happened and the character of Carcass was made to replace him. And that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed. The Mind Robber is certainly one of the best second Doctor stories out there. It's certainly one of my favourites, and it's understandable why Patrick Troughton absolutely loved it. I love the wild imagination that goes on in this story, and of course, you know, if it was done today, it would have been a lot more bigger and better, but obviously for the time, it's magnificent. I really love the design of the toy soldiers and the white robots. I love the idea that Jamie has his face the wrong way throughout the whole story. I love a lot of the concepts used in this story. It's a fantastic story, and it's one that I think not a lot of people really talk about that much, mainly because it's from the second Doctor era, which is kind of often neglected a bit, I almost feel, which is a shame because this is a truly fantastic story and a truly fantastic beginning to the end, I guess you could say, because obviously this is his last series, and it is certainly up there as one of the best second Doctor stories out there, in my opinion. I think it's fantastic. It's got a lot of crazy, wild concepts. I love the mind fuckery of the whole story. And it's just brilliant. I don't know what else to say. It is just brilliant. I'm sort of like going over and over again saying how brilliant it is, but I cannot really stress how brilliant it is. I think it's one of those stories that you kind of need to watch as opposed to listen to someone else speak about. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Did You Know Doctor Who, and I'll see you next time.